I froze, my phone screen glowing in the dim light of my living room as I stared at the alert. An unauthorized attempt to transfer $1 million from my savings account. The names linked to it? My parents, the same ones who'd refused to help me with even $5,000 for college years ago. Now, they expected me to foot the bill for my brother's extravagant wedding, like it was my duty. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it echoing in my ears. How could they do this? My name is Emily, and I'm 35 now, running a successful tech startup in Seattle that I built from nothing. That alert came on June 15, 2023, and it was the moment everything snapped into focus. I'd spent years burying the resentment, pretending we were a normal family. But that day, I knew I had to confront the truth. Let me take you back to where the cracks first started showing, in our tiny Chicago apartment in 2008. Growing up, the favoritism was like a constant hum in the background, impossible to ignore. The air in our home always carried the sharp tang of my dad's cigarettes and the faint char of Mom's overcooked meals. My younger brother Alex was the golden child. New sneakers for him while I patched holes in mine. They'd scraped together cash for his soccer camps, but when I asked for help with community college tuition at 18, they shut me down flat. We can't afford it, Emily. Figure it out yourself. Alex needs braces that cost $3,000. I remember standing in the kitchen, the linoleum cold under my feet, fighting back tears as they turned away. It felt like I was invisible. So I did figure it out. I juggled 2 jobs, flipping burgers at a greasy diner where the fryer oil clung to my skin, and stocking shelves at a bookstore that smelled like old paper and dust. Nights blurred into early mornings as I attended classes, chipping away at a computer science degree. By 2014, I graduated with $85,000 in student loans hanging over me like a storm cloud, but I pushed through, coding apps in my tiny rented room until one took off. In 2022, I sold my startup for $2 million. Finally, I was free, or so I thought. Fast forward to July 10th, 2023. It started like any other rainy Seattle morning. Me in my home office, the patter of drops against the window, sipping bitter black coffee from my favorite mug. I was scrolling through emails when I spotted it. An elaborate digital wedding invitation from Alex. A destination bash in Hawaii, complete with beach ceremonies and luxury villas. Estimated cost over $200,000. My stomach twisted. Then my phone rang. It was my parents, their voices tinny over the speaker. Emily, we need to talk. Alex's big day is coming up, and as the successful one, you should help. Wire us $1 million, it's family. I nearly dropped the mug. The coffee sloshed, burning my hand, but I barely felt it. Help? You mean pay for everything? My voice shook. That's when the insult landed like a slap. My dad barked, "We raised you, didn't we? Alex deserves this happiness. You were always so independent. Unlike him, you didn't need us wasting time on your silly dreams." They sent a follow-up email at 2:45 p.m. with a wire transfer link, as if it were a done deal. It wasn't just the money. It was the erasure of my struggles, the assumption that my success was theirs to claim. That night, I paced my apartment, the city lights blurring through the rain-streaked glass. I couldn't let this slide. I named my plan Operation Fair Share, a deliberate strategy to expose their hypocrisy and safeguard what I'd earned. I dug into my digital archives, screenshots of 2008 texts where they flat-out refused my college plea, saying, "End of story." Bank statements detailing every $500 monthly loan payment I'd made alone. And the clincher, a 2022 will from my late grandma, leaving me $500,000 as seed money for my business, which my parents had tried to contest in court but lost. I scheduled a Zoom with my lawyer the next day, screen sharing those files like weapons. That's when my ally stepped in. Dr. Lena Ramirez, my old college professor turned mentor, a sharp-witted 50-year-old who'd seen her share of family drama. We video called that evening, her face warm on my laptop screen amid stacks of books in her study. "Emily, boundaries aren't betrayal, they're survival. she said firmly. You've got the proof? Use it. Her words lit a fire. I froze my accounts first, getting a bank confirmation at 4:12 p.m. that blocked any transfers. Then I emailed old neighbors for statements about the favoritism. They replied quickly, one saying, "We always saw how they favored Alex." It wasn't right. But doubt crept in when Alex left a voicemail. "Sis, you're just jealous. Don't ruin this for me." It stung, but it only hardened my resolve. 2 days later, on July 12th, I escalated remotely. I fired off a group text with attachments, those old loan docs, and a clear message. You chose not to invest in me back then. I choose not to fund your choices now. This is the end of it. My phone buzzed nonstop. Mom replied first, "You're selfish just like always." Then Alex chimed in with a screenshot of his wedding budget, pleading for family unity. I didn't budge, but when Dad called, his voice booming, "How dare you air our dirty laundry?" I hung up, my screen smeared with fingerprints from gripping too tight. I knew texts weren't enough. On August 5th, 2023, I flew to Chicago for the in-person showdown. The old living room hadn't changed. Stale air, faded couches, the same tension hanging like smoke. My parents and Alex sat stiffly as I walked in, folder in hand. "This stops today," I said, voice steady despite my racing pulse. I laid out the evidence, the notarized affidavit from my lawyer stating my inheritance rights, bank records proving my solo climb, and a cease and desist letter warning against further attempts. "I'm not bluffing," I added, reading aloud from a 2010 email where Dad called my ambitions a joke. The room went silent. Alex stammered, "I didn't know it was this bad." Dad's face reddened, but he had no comeback. My lawyer's words echoed in my head. "You hold the power now. Use it wisely." The fallout unfolded slowly, like watching a storm recede. By August 20th, Alex's wedding was scaled back to a local venue after his fiancée saw the leaked texts and demanded honesty. No more Hawaii dreams. Thanksgiving 2023 came and went without an invite. I spent it alone, cooking a small turkey that tasted like victory mixed with loneliness. In January 2024, Mom emailed a half-hearted apology, still laced with blame. "We did our best." I replied politely but kept distance. Meanwhile, my business soared. Revenue hit $5 million by March 2025. Therapy started in September 2023 helped unpack the grief. Sessions every Tuesday at 3 p.m. became my anchor. On May 15th, 2025, I returned to the old family home one last time, standing in the overgrown backyard where Grandma's garden used to bloom. I clutched her antique locket, engraved with "Strength in Solitude," the cool metal pressing into my palm. I'd just announced my $1 million scholarship fund for kids facing the same barriers I did. A press release went out that morning. No full reconciliation came, but the distance felt like freedom. Alex and I exchanged neutral texts now and then, a fragile bridge. As for my parents, the silence spoke volumes. Looking back, I realize family isn't just blood. It's about mutual respect. Standing up for myself didn't mean losing them. It meant gaining my own life, boundaries intact. That betrayal taught me my worth, and I wouldn't trade that lesson for anything.